Get ready to be transformed. Join us online on July 22nd and 23rd, 2022 at the Celebrate You Virtual Women's Conference. This is where you will expand your faith, your family, and your finances. Get strategies and inspiration from Lawana Bradford, Dr. Deron Shea, Barbara Beckley, Shay Brown, Deborah Morrison, Larcinia White, Audra Agin, Mary Ellen Siganovich, Tracy Oriomi, Marva Riley, Sammy Blundell, Wendy Corner, Jacqueline Lulu Brown, Irene Baxford, Serena Bufalino. Join women and men from around the globe. Register today.
Today, over 1 billion children in the world live in poverty. At Help Heal Humanity, our goal is to connect children in need with people like you who want to make a difference. Our student sponsorship program helps provide children with the necessities for a healthy and successful start to life. When you sponsor a student, you're not only giving them the gift of education, you're giving them the best chance for a brighter future. 100% of your donation supports the tuition fees, uniforms, textbook, and school supplies needed to thrive in a safe and healthy learning environment. Sponsor a student now and be the catalyst for their brighter future.
Hey, hello, Miss Lady Queen, awesome, wonderful person, friend, and co-host.
Ditto, right back at you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing I could not wait for this show because I just, again, just giving you the love here.
Okay.
You always inspire me over and over again just to live life at its fullest. I mean, just you seeing you on that Harley, just you just on that motorcycle. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Just do what you do.
Yeah, and it was such a fun day. It was just a beautiful day.
I could tell.
3-hour drive. And you know, and it's so funny how sometimes, you know, I'm all about life lessons. And as Sherry and I were standing there, it was, all right, well, where are we going to go? And I said, well, you know what? That's going to be my live. But like, where are we going to go? And but isn't that, you know, and that was what the live was about. It was like, you might not know where you're going, but at least get on the bike. You know? And that was the life lesson for that day. And we did. We just got on the bike and took off. And it was like, all right, let's see where we turn. And we had absolutely, it was a beautiful 3-hour ride. Wow. And it was just absolutely amazing. And, you know, and that's the thing about life. Just get on the bike. You know, whatever your bike is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might be write a book, or it might be start a business, or it might be go walk, start a dog walking service. You don't know. And you don't have to know all the details.
Yeah.
Just get on the bike.
Yes.
And one of the things for me is the next step will appear. But you have to, but it's our responsibility. And I'm talking to myself here.
Me too. You're talking to me too.
The things I talk about tend to be the things that I need to get in my brain. Get on the bike.
Get on the bike.
Take that first step.
Yeah.
Whatever that first step is. And you know what? I truly believe that, like in my case, I call it God. Other people call it universe, source, divine, whatever you call that. Intuition. Every one of us has it. Step into it. So if that's for you today, step into it. Just sit down and listen. You will get a little nudge. I call them like instant downloads. It's a little nudge that, ooh, I can do that. And it'll be like, really? But I go and do it, because that one little whatever it is leads to something else. That's how this show started. You, thank you so much. You had the nudge to start a network. You had a nudge to start, let's do a happiness show. Ooh, let's ask Barb.
Yeah.
I, of course, said, I would love to. I won't do it alone. Because I love being part of a team. And so this has been just such a great, and now 2 years later, here we still are.
I love when you're just our cheer. You're just like our main cheerleader when it comes to this show. I just love it. And like you said, it all just takes, just do it. Well, maybe what was it? The commercial, Nike. They were right. That always seemed like it pops up no matter what era you're in. Just do it.
Just do it. And and you don't have to do the whole thing.
No. Start. Just
get out of your way, people. You don't have to do the whole thing today. But take one step.
Take one step and see what happens. Yeah.
Take one step and see where it takes you.
Yeah.
Do one little thing.
Now, I'm just going to go with this because I love what you're talking about. This is some wonderful wisdom and golden nuggets. So I want to take this a little bit on a business side. With Absolutely. Me, what happened, just 2 weeks ago. So, we're always, I think us as business people, business women in business are always looking to help others, right? That's the biggest thing. I mean, besides making money. Okay, I'll put the money to side.
We're not going to send back the check.
Yeah,
however, However, that's not our main focus.
As long as they don't bounce, but no, I'm just kidding. So let's put it to the side for a minute. But I mean, the main thing too is really to help people, get to where they need to go, right? So I'm always looking in my business of what product and services can I offer to get to them to the next level? Because that's just, that's what my heart is. Right. And I was noticing, and I said, you know what? Everybody in business should have some type of business plan, even if it's a one-pager. I mean, just something to tell you what your mission is, whatever, right? So I was thinking, Barbara,
right,
I could take that because I'm always, especially I work with a lot of people with my package and stuff with the social media, and really making them understand how to strategically do it. So I said, I created a social media business plan course, and it was a download. Like you said, it was
instant downloads.
It was an instant download. And I was like, wait a minute. And then all of a sudden, Barbara, all this stuff started coming out after that instant download. And I created this package for
how long did it take you?
And it took me probably an hour.
Exactly. Because followed the first step.
I followed the download. Like you and me are both with the God. I mean, I believe in God. Jesus just give me the download. And then from that point, I already had this. See, he showed me something else too. He said, well, Barry, you got the tools. All you do is repurpose those tools, put them together, and put a package. I was like, yeah, I don't have to think about this for 5 or 6 weeks. This thing, because when you think about it, Barbara, I'm putting off, when I put off things or when I take things too long, then I'm prolonging people that can work to help them by me prolonging. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got
It's like,
excited.
I know it rejuvenates you when you take that first little inspired action. Now, if you, on the other hand, if you had said, okay, I'll work on that later.
Well, that sometime happens too. I'm just gonna be open, like you said, with full disclosure. Sometimes that does happen.
However, sometimes the magic comes off of it, and then it's like, ooh, that was a good idea. But it doesn't just flow. It took you an hour because you got into what I call the mind flow. So you had a mindset of what you had, because your mindset is to help people.
Yeah.
Well, then you had a little shift because you listened to that little download. Well, of course, what happened almost immediately, you went into mind flow. Within an hour, you had the whole thing. That's what we're talking about. Mindset to mind shift to mind flow.
Ooh. The 3 M's.
We all have it. We all have it available to us, but we have to get that. We do have to do that first little whatever it is.
And you know what you just, now that you can create that like a little course or whatever. The 3 M's about mind, about the mind. And your mind. You just did the different areas.
Right. And that's tying into my positivity. And it's, I have set a date, August 20th. I am starting to teach it. I'm back from vacation, getting it. And a friend of mine said, oh, you are so, that you've already set a date. I haven't set a date for my first one. I said, if I don't set a date, I won't do it. Set a date, you got to get stuff done. And since I've done that yesterday, I talked to a gal that she's in the same boat, that she's in the same spot that I am. We're similar age. We have similar visions, and we're going to work together to get it all done. It's like, okay, when you take that first step, the universe is going to help you.
It comes, you
don't have to on your own.
Your way. Yeah. People, place, and place will come your way. Yes.
People, things, programs, sources, resources, all sorts of things. Like one of the things that came along for me was I had heard of a thing called, I'm going to give them a plug, of Buffer. And it's I think you probably know Buffer. It's for doing social media. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, okay. But one of the things she said, oh, one of the things I liked about Buffer is that you can make like a little landing page type of thing. Oh, okay, let me go look at it. Well, I have a whole little landing page for my Aging Gracefully website. And I'm like, and I've gotten my first client from it.
See? All because somebody told you, you took action with it, and there you go.
And so now I'm going to start one for my positive intelligence class. So that was, I said, oh, let me see if I can make another one. And it's just, so it just starts. So my inkling for today, this is summer. Okay, this is summer. So what are we doing for summer things? Well, one of the things that came across my desk was the National Calendar Day. Well, today is National Daiquiri Day. So, okay, so National Daiquiri Day. And here is me from that I'm a non-drinker. I mean, an occasional glass of wine and occasional glass of peanut butter whiskey. That's about it. Totally different things, but once in a great while. But anyways, I was a bartender for many years. And so, and one of the hardest drinks that I used to terribly could not make worth a darn was a daiquiri. Great. So I set up, it was like they just did, this doesn't taste right. And so consequently, I wouldn't make them. And then it was like, for heaven's sakes, Barbara, if you are going to be professional, you are going to, I don't care that you don't think you can make these, you are going to learn how to make them and get it to the right portions and get it so that it tastes good. Well, then I became the strawberry daiquiri queen. But anyways, daiquiris started back in 1898.
Really? Wow.
So I was like, oh, National Daiquiri Day, and I said, well, I'm going to look. Well, this guy, and I'm going to read it to you. It was during the Spanish-American War, and
Okay.
he was an American engineer, and his name was Jennings Fox. But they were doing a mining thing where they were blowing up this wherever they were.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but at the end of the day, they would all get together and have these what they name. He said, "Well, I'm going to name them after where we are." So that's how it got its name. It's Bacardi rum, it's lime and sugar.
Okay.
Well, over that, but time goes on, and people always want to improve. So if you have that life lesson here, if you have an idea that you think somebody else has started, just do one little thing to improve it. It now becomes yours. Tip. So that's a little life lesson of nugget. Okay. So then people started adding shaved ice. Well, then in 1909, Admiral Johnson of the U.S. Navy medical officer, he tried the drink and introduced it to the Army and Navy Club in Washington, D.C. So now you've got the Army and Navy guys. This is how things can progress. So just start.
Just with that one.
From that one little thing. So now the daiquiri was also one of the favorite drinks of Ernest Hemingway and President John Kennedy.
Wow.
Yep.
See, this is knowledge is powerful.
This is, and so now people are using it with lemonade and with limeade, and they're putting, like with me, one of my specialties became strawberry daiquiris.
I love strawberry daiquiris.
Because it's the way of getting the balance of the sweet and the sour. Well, and now they have mixes and stuff for it. So, but isn't it from one little idea?
Yeah.
Start your idea, people.
Well, I like you just said, you mentioned, I'll throw this in with the daiquiri thing.
Yes.
With the daiquiri, like you just said, they made it much easier for all of us. Like you said, Barbara, when you were doing it, I knew you had to do it the way that old-fashioned way says. But now you got the mix, crushed ice, alcohol. That's all you need. You just mix crushed ice, alcohol in a blender.
And you're done.
Yeah.
But back in 1898.
Boy, so
1898 was the first time this Jennings Cox. So, but look at how far it's come.
To the point how simplified they made it.
And how simplified they have made it. So I really believe that's the life lesson for today. Just start. Get on the bike.
Get on the bike. Create a program.
And I have the tailpipe burn to I was sliding off, caught the edge of the tailpipe. And so now, of course, I've got a burn on the back of my leg. And it was like, but you know what? The thing is, it was such a glance that it was like, oh yeah, okay. It was just a little, because it was just such a glance until afterwards. And I have to say, it hasn't really hurt. I mean, I notice it's there because it's healing really well. But it was just the funniest thing because a friend of mine said, Barb, what's on your leg? I said, oh, and then she looked at me. She said, the tailpipe, right? And I went, yep. But I had fun on the ride. So it was worth getting the tailpipe burn.
It was worth the tailpipe burn. And this is proof that I had fun, right?
This is the proof that I had fun. And that's so that's the final life lesson of the day. So you get a little bruise somewhere. You have a little bruise somewhere to show that you were on the ride. At least you were on the ride.
I just see, I told you, I love all your downloads and your golden nuggets, Barbara. You come with it every week. And I hope you're taking notes because, okay, I'm going to give a little tip before we bring our queen on, our guest on. I'm going to give you a little tip, everybody. This is a social media tip that always have some kind of somewhere you can write, pad of paper, pen, wherever. It could even be a napkin. I don't care. And when those downloads come with those golden nuggets, like Barbara always has, because she should have a list of them. Those are your brand quotes. Use those quotes to post, and then put a caption over it of a teachable moment. There's a wonderful post, and you branded yourself because now it's your own quote that people will follow. Yes. So Barbara, you should have a book. You should have a book.
It's in the I am. That's it's on my list. But make sure you hashtag. Let's put a hashtag. Make sure you put anything you post. I mean, Barb will tell you this. Anything you post, make sure you put your name has your hashtag.
That's another. Yeah, that's another good tip. Thank you. Yeah.
Put your name.
Yeah, I just don't want people missing out on them quotes because that's just so, to me, that's powerful. We're always, because we all have our own quotes that we like from other people.
Yeah, from other people.
I mean, I have, you and I, we all do have quotes we love from other people. And I'm like, but you got downloads every day that you can quote or little, teachable ones that you gave somebody real quick. Use them. Right. Build your brand from them. Yes. Yeah. And then, like Barbara said, put hashtag Barbara Ellis. Or put hashtag Barbara Ellis quote.
Right. And so, like, what you've just reminded me, it said, like, just get on the bike. I think it's going to be a hashtag. I'm going to go look and see if there's a hashtag. Just get on the bike.
Okay, with that said, we're gonna bring in I'm telling you, Barbara, we're gonna bring in our wonderful queen here, our guest. Now I want to make sure I say her name right, Barbara. So I want you to pronounce her name for me, so I say it right.
Purim
King, right?
Purim King.
Yeah. Yes, and she.
I mean, yeah, and she talks about stress reduction. So which is what laughter is such a good stress reduction. So we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Well, besides the stress thing, I want to make sure we do it right because I know we don't really read, but I'm going to start doing this. She's a business coach that doubles and quadruples. I like that part too. Clients' income and happiness through PsychicMasterAcademy.inc. So we want to talk to her a little bit about that because I think a lot of people always would like to know how to, quadruple. Now, usually I hear double, but when I hear somebody say quadruple, I want to know, right? I'm like, okay, let's all listen to Mrs. King here because she knows what she's talking about. So let's go to our sponsors, and then we'll bring on the wonderful queen, and then we'll get to meet her and get some conversation going.
You got it.
Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming, to give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
Ta-da!
You ladies are so funny. I enjoyed myself. Very funny.
Thank you, Queen.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the daiquiri. I have to have one. I don't drink either, but I have to have one. And I do have a burn from a pipe too, just so you know.
See?
Look at this. Look at this. Wow, yeah. Barbara. See, you bring in the best. See, she understands. We're all together here. Wow.
And that's why it's so important to share experiences.
Yeah.
Because you never know somebody else has shared the experience. And especially if it happens to be a negative one or this one's a fun one, but shared experiences. We can't do life on our own.
No.
So we all got to be together and help each other out. So Wonderful. So welcome, Miss Queen. I always call Lady Queen, so you'll hear me say that a lot throughout the
Thank you, thank you. Maybe king. I'm used to king. I'm the king.
Yeah.
Queen king.
We'll do that too. So you're royalty double. You're double royalty.
Double royalty.
Double.
I had a person do a chart for me, a Kabbalist, and he said you would never marry someone that's not royalty, because king comes from my husband and ex. And I looked at my history of dating, and everybody had nobility in their name. Anybody that I actually dated had some nobility.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
Wow, that is very interesting.
Double nobility, definitely.
Synchronicity.
You know, double nobility, anyway. Double responsibility, double the work. That's how it goes.
I know about that. So tell us a little bit about yourself while we tell us what you do, because I'm curious about, I want to get into some other things, but start off with, how you got to what you're doing now.
So when I was very young, in the short version, I decided to be a doctor, but not like them. And then I forgot about it, kind of. And at 45, I was like hugely overweight. I was depressed. I was in pain, with back pain. As a child, I was very asthmatic and had a terrible eczema. And I have kind of healed those, but still had them. And one day, I was told by four people, and then my girlfriend found the brochure that they all were like, you're going to Barbara Brennan's School of Healing. And I finally heard it. A friend of mine said that she had told me about it months prior, but I never heard it. And there was talking about how when you make like the thing before the download, the thing before the download is the desire or the idea. So I had listened to Dyer, what's his name? He died. Dyer? Barbara, Dwayne Dyer. And
Wayne.
And he
Dr. Wayne.
Yes, Wayne Dyer. And he said he was talking about some healer in Peru calling energia and sweating, and I literally skipped a bit. And I was like, I really want this, but I can't go to Peru. I have small kids, and what? Peru? And so just months after, there was a series of other things that happened, but I was in the school, and there was, the school moved in my backyard. I had the money in advance, and it was like a decision of I either kill myself or I go there. That was so then I became a healer, and I would have clients here and there, but not a practice. And just very recently, I realized that really what I'm meant to be is a teacher, not a healer. Healer is good, and I still practice healing, but teaching is what my passion is. And my other passion was, from age 5, I was aware that medicine, the way it's practiced in the Western world, doesn't work. And it was my mission to change that. And I finally, and from when I started my journey to today, the attitude towards alternative medicine has changed so dramatically that it's wonderful to see. We are changing the medicine, people, and so I decided that I need to do Psychic Mastery Academy, because the Psychic Mastery Academy is basically a healing school. Not exactly, because you might choose to be an artist at the end of it. You might choose to be a psychic or not a psychic, but you claim your powers. And by claiming them and claiming your intuition and your extra skills, like how to meditate, how to be grounded and expanded at the same time, instead of in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, there were people that were walking outside of their body, literally. So they were very smart and charismatic, but they were not grounded in reality that we are living in. So I want to say that you guys are not, I don't hear you. Is that okay that I don't hear you?
No, we were listening.
Okay. Well, that's my story. And so the Psychic Mastery Academy is basically a fast forward start on the journey of happiness. Because when you are you're happy. And by the way, stress doesn't live in the present moment. Stress lives when we are the only beings that can be disconnected to where we are. So we can be in the past, we can be in the future, or we can be here now. And so when we are here now, we are happy. There is, unless there is a gorilla chewing on you, you're happy, but we are unhappy when we are depressed when we are in the past, and we are in anxiety and stress when we are in the future, because we are in a place, all of us, no matter how good or how well you do, there is a gap between where you are and where you want to be. Like you said, I should make a book, it's on my list. And so you can concentrate on the fact that you haven't written the book yet, and then you become unhappy with yourself. Or you can say, oh my God, I am right here and right here. It's so much fun to be on the show. I don't need to write the book right now. It's writing itself. And then when the time comes, it just comes like a download. And like you guys were talking about, it's effortless. And that is the other thing. When you're in the present, a lot of it is effortless. It feels like play, not work. So that's my story.
Wow.
and I did write a book, and it was a download in a snowstorm. It took a year to then afterwards publish it. I have 2 books actually. This is one of them.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, put a little closer.
Guys?
Yeah, you know what? Put it up a little closer, because I want people to see your book. There we go. A little, the light shining on it a little bit. Move it. Yeah, there we go. Just over just a little bit. There you go. A little book for a big change.
Now,
how to get out your way.
after I published my book, which I never advertised, but I sold personally like 400 or 500 copies, and have amazing feedback. They were I do psychic. I paid my school in healing and all of that through going to the Renaissance Fair and being a psychic. And this is the tools that I give people, and they come back next year and tell me, oh my God, it changed my life. Oh my God, I was promoted 3 times. Oh my God. And so I decided to put all those tools that I give people in a little book on purpose. And my next book that's coming, hopefully by August, Barbara's, it's the little book for big loving. Anyway.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. I'm so glad that you explained that. Well, first, I always like to hear the backstories of people, because I see where they came from and where they are now. And I'm like, wow, powerful. And it gives people hope to say, you did it. This queen did it, just by having the downloads, by, you went through some things health-wise and stuff. And you said to yourself, look, some got to be give here. I got to do something, and you did. And look what happened. And now you not only helped yourself, but you're helping so many others. And I love that book, what it's talking about. Barbara always talking about that. Because when I was reading the title, I said, wait a minute, you, Barbara, in sync with what your title of your book is at the bottom, and I was like, see, again, you never know. You never know. Oh, Barbara's
Yeah.
I think. Yes, let's make sure she's on.
And there is always a place for
and,
another book.
and that's why it's so important. Right. And exactly, that's exactly what I was just going to say. So you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what happens. Because just because you've written a book doesn't mean that somebody, you can take the same things, but you're saying it in a different way. And that's what it's so important, because not everybody resonates. Back to my favorite saying, there's 7 billion people on this planet. There's room for more books. We need people to shout their message from the rooftops, because we have a hurting world. This world is hurting. And everybody needs to hear the message of that there is hope, that there is health, there is financial freedom, there is just a wealth of knowledge out there. We can say the same. It's like yesterday I happened to say to somebody, it's like, you can put 10 doctors in a room, give them one issue, every one of them will tell you something different.
Yeah.
And that's it's funny you mentioned that, because you could do that to anybody. Like, you can put 10 coaches in a room about what subject, exactly, and they'll all give you something totally little different.
All give you something different, and you will resonate with one or two of them.
Yeah.
The rest you just let go of.
Exactly.
Resonate that you resonate with.
Yeah.
So important.
So the tool is to notice if you're stressing about something, to notice if you're thinking about your past, to think about whether you're projecting your past into the future, your negativity into the future, and if you're present in this moment. And then the next step is to say, well, what can I do about it? And like really the serenity prayer is such a wonderful thing. It's like, either if you can do something about it, then do something, and if you can't, then let it go. And letting it go, and here's another tool I teach people to replace the voices in their head with the word I trust. Words are powerful. They have energy, they have consciousness within them, and they're powerful. They can literally change your world. And so when you say, I trust, 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 when you're not stressed, it tells your subconscious God, whoever, that you're trusting that the best will happen. You don't even need to know what the best is, because the universe never gives you, and this is an assumption that works for me, and it is that the universe supports you. And it's proven to me that it is true over and over again. So you can take that assumption, because it works for you. It makes you feel better knowing that the universe is having your back. If it makes you feel better, if it's lighter, there is a truth in that. If it makes you feel crunched, there is a lie in that. That's another tool, by the way. But the idea that the universe is having my back is something that I take for granted. So then, if I say I trust, I trust, I trust, the universe is going to give you what's best for you. So you're not interfering in the universe delivery to you. Instead of saying, I want this, but I want it this way and only that way, then it makes it harder for the universe to give you what you desire than if you just say, I trust that I will get the best for me. I trust, I trust, I trust. And when you say, I trust in your head, loud or quietly, you can't think about the past or the future. you're present. So if you don't know how to be present, just use the word I trust repeatedly in your head. Simple.
Very good tip. I like that. I just want to add to that. Like you said, it's like affirmations that you're telling yourself. And some people, sometimes people just do it in the morning. Some people might do it, afternoon. I tell people, for me, depending on where I'm trying to go, I do affirmations throughout the whole day. I'm always, and putting that and pouring that in me because it's a need. And like Barbara just said, it's especially now, this world right here is hurting, and we need to build ourselves up and believe through all this negativity, all this stuff going on. We got to get all that out of there. And I feel like, saying I trust, I believe in me, I'm going to keep it positive, that helps us build us up.
So when you say I trust, you trust the universe, but you also trust yourself. Mm-hmm. I always tell people, don't trust your boyfriend because he's not going to change. Trust him to be who he is, not who you want him to be. But trust yourself to be able to deal with whatever is dished in front of you. Mm-hmm. And that's what the trust is. I trust me. I trust the universe, and it's empowering. And about the affirmations, people pray, like you say, Barbara. They pray for 5 minutes in the morning. God, give me more money. And then they go throughout the day affirming poverty. They say, I can't afford this. This is too much. They go through the day as a poor man and they affirm, I don't have. And then they say, but I want. But want is in the future. It's not in the present either way. And to affirm that you're having is to behave not irresponsibly, not by spending money, but like, for example, I can afford. I've had this fantasy about a certain Mercedes from childhood. There was a sports Mercedes. First of all, I no longer want the sports car, but Mercedes is still this car that I like, and I could afford it if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I want something that works for me and not me working for it. And I'm like, if I'm meant to have it, it will come my way effortlessly, but I don't want to put myself. I'm independently sustainable, but I'm not I don't know, a billionaire that can have 700 cars. So my car is practical, and I'm practical in everything, and that is the idea. So you don't. I don't want it. I don't want it until there is so much money in my bank account that whether I have it or not is not important. It's not a consideration. But people. It's true with clothes, it's true with jewelry, it's true with even food, eating out. When I wanted to buy a place and I was $10,000, no matter what I looked at, short. I decided I'm not eating out until I have the $10,000. I almost got the $10,000. I found a house that fit my needs. And it didn't need the $10,000. When you show the universe that you mean it, it supports you.
Yes. Powerful. Wow, Barbara.
And then I got another house.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So okay. So before, because of time, tell us that this is what I want to hear. This is what me and Barbara was like doing this. So you can help people quadruple. See, I love what I'm thinking of. That's on my head. Clients.
Yes, I have a number of clients that have quadrupled. I have a client who is coach himself now. He started about a year ago, and he went from barely living at home. He's a young man living at home, very talented, but barely making about 18,000 a year to making six figures. That's more than quadruple. Living on his own and actually facilitating many people he teaches. So that's one. I have another client many years ago that came to dissolve her business and her marriage, and I actually did only a couple of healings with her, and not only she did not dissolve anything, she quadrupled her business and was freshly in love with her husband. It sounds like magic, but it's really not. It's what happens is if you work at the base of the problems, and if you can just unlock that little switch there, like it's like a dam, it blocks the water from going on. You just open that little flow and it grows. This is very simple. It's not impossible. It's not outside of the physics. It's not even something I do. I just get to the point.
One of the things that I liked about when Perm and I originally talked is that it's like kind of like we started the show with just get on the bike. That's what it's unlocking, that one little thing that's going to put you on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
And so often once you unlock that one tangible action step or one tangible thought process that, like Barbara, when you had your instant download, wow. And you're going to be able to come back to that years from now and say, gee, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because it unlocked that little mechanism. It's like you were standing in front of the door. You needed the key to put in the key into the lock. And all of a sudden the key was there. Turned the lock and it opened the door.
I want to say something because people think there is people that can do DIY, do it yourself, but a lot of times, especially if you're depressed or if you're having really hard time, it's hard to get out of your way. I spent years wondering how do you do that? And really, my book gets you out of your way without really telling you, oh, get out of your way, but it does get you out of your way. And that I trust affirmation, or call it whatever, in your head will take out the negative thoughts in your head. And your thoughts are creative. And so by taking them out of your head will create a different possibility. We are all potential billionaires. It's just how much you want it. It's really how much you want it and what you're willing to do for it. But most of us say we want it, but we don't really want it, and we won't be happier if we have it. It's funny. My daughter dreams of castles. I like small places. And if you give me a castle, it will be overwhelming for me and not necessarily. I used to have an office that was really big, and I was like, I had to create a QB thing for me to work because I was not comfortable. It was good for events and stuff, but I needed my little 4x5 or 5x5 space with two chairs and a table to feel contained. And so everybody has their space needs or whatever, and so it's not true that we all want to be a billionaire, and it's not true that we can all hold that energy because it's energy. We are not there. We need to be able to build our own containers.
Yes, definitely.
So asking for help, using a coach a therapist, and I have to say I'm a therapist, but not many therapists are effective. I would prefer you all go to healers rather than therapists. There is no shame in asking for help. There is shame in staying stuck for long times. Not shame, but it's too bad. It's heartbreaking. It's much better to go and ask for help. So people think that it's a sign of weakness, but it's really a sign of strength when you ask for help and actually take it in.
I'm so glad, Queen, that you said that, because the mental health, the mental wellness is really huge right now, and it's really being focused on even more, especially after this pandemic and stuff. It's just hit, and a lot of people are we're just blowing it up, and it's really out there for all of us. And when you said don't be scared, don't think that you're weak because you're asking for help, that's making you stronger, because you see that there's something not right, and you're taking that step to say, I need to figure out what this is, instead of waiting. The waiting part is the part that's the problem most of the time, because sometimes it can probably be fixed way at the beginning stages of it, but then we wait. So I'm so glad you put that out there about don't feel that you shouldn't do that. And that's what goes back to, like Barbara always says, you have coaches, you have healers, you have everybody that's here for you. Just wanting to help you, either think positive or help you with your business like you do, or just help not think about everything and think about just present. So thank you for coming. Thank you for reminding me.
And there's a place for everyone.
So can I do a shameless plug?
Of course.
Okay, so in October 11, I'm starting a new round of psychicmasteryacademy.com, and this is an invitation to people to get on my psychicmasteryacademy.com and contact me via my calendar, or find me anywhere. There is a Purim King. It's such easy to find because it's one of a kind. So yeah. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. So I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. You can find me, and make a session with me. This is a free session for your audience. I'll give them an hour to discover what's the next step. And
sometimes that's all you need, is somebody to help you. What's the next step?
Yeah.
And to get in touch with that, what we talked about, to get in touch with that inner, but once in a while, sometimes it's buried so deep. And if you have never, ever looked, it feels overwhelming. That's when you need help. And that's like one of the things I'm doing, this positivity. And we've been talking about who do we want to work with? And what's coming up for me is men facing retirement, and all of their identity has been in their career, and now they're facing retirement and they have no idea who they are.
I mean, men and women, that the children live have the same crisis.
Or sisters. Yeah. And that's what's coming up for me. That's who I need to work with, is those people that are facing that, and they have no idea what to do. They don't know their next step. Well, sometimes it's buried so deep that they can't figure it out on their own. And that's where I was after David died. I knew what I didn't want. I just had no idea what I did want. And that's when I hired my first coach. And that has started this whole, and why we are here today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when it started with that, I knew what I didn't want. No idea what I did want.
Wow.
And how do I get that? I knew, the only thing I knew was I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
But how do you get that? I didn't know.
Awesome.
That's where coaching comes in.
Wow. Well, this has been awesome. I know with timing we went a little bit, but this is great. Thank you, Queen, for coming on the show and giving those golden nuggets. See, here we go with the golden nuggets. And I always ask for this. I talk to the audience now. This is where I talk to the audience and I say, reach out to this queen. I have the information right there, scrolling there. And if you're like, well, I can't see it or it's too fast, reach out to me and I'll reach out to her for you. So there's no excuse why you can't get to our guest. And I just want to remind people of that. And then also remind people, every Tuesday, putting a plug out for Time to Shine Happiness show, right? With the BBs. If you want to be a guest, you want to be on the show, please just reach out to the other barber next to me. Am I doing it right? Yeah. and just let her know.
Okay.
And, is it this way? Yeah, this way. Okay. And we'll just let her know. Okay. That if you want to be on the show, we would love to have you spotlighted and have these conversations like we did with the queen today. So, lady, please, Miss King, as you said, double royalty. Anytime you want to come back on, you are more than welcome. Anything that's coming up in your world, you are more than welcome. So you can come on and talk about it because you are just a gem, and we just appreciate you coming on the show.
I would love to come after the book comes out.
Oh, see, okay, we got to get it down. We got to get her on the calendar, Barbara.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Awesome. I love to see you here.
It was such a pleasure being here. You guys are doing an amazing job.
Thank you. So we'll connect with you to make sure you get back on the schedule. Thank you. So everybody take care. I'll see my other barber next week. See you. Hello, everybody. I know we just kind of, ended our show for today with Time to Shine Happiness with my wonderful co-host, Barbara Ellis. But I'm coming back on for a special plug. And the special plug is this weekend, July 22nd and 23rd. I am part of a wonderful, wonderful platform called Celebrate You. Been a part of it with another wonderful person named Lawana Bradford. I am coming out because there is a need, especially for women, to understand in all 5 pillars in our lives: finances, emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical. And what we're doing, we're going to have our first annual conference for women just like you in all of those areas to give you those golden nuggets, to give you something to say, you know what? Not only we're going to talk about those different areas with all the speakers going to be on board, but we're going to give you something to take away and say, I could take this and I could put it in my life and I could move that needle in where other areas that you need. So this is an ask to see if you would like to come. Now, you don't have to get on a plane. You don't have to get on a train. You don't have to even get on a bike. You can be right in your house because it's virtual. It's right there. I know some people are like, oh, I'm zoomed out, everything. But you know what? I want you to zoom in on this because this is going to be something that you can take some pieces in your life and say, I need to work on that. Or if you already say, you know what? I'm good in those areas. And those are reminders that we're giving you, or it's confirmation for you saying I'm on the right path. So those 5 pillars are so important because you want to make sure that you're leveling in those areas. So I ask you to please sign up today. And the nice thing about this is that it's just a $15 investment in you. And that $15 investment, no, it doesn't go to the organizers. It doesn't go to me. It doesn't go to Lawana. It doesn't go to none of us. It goes to a nonprofit organization that we basically chose called Help Heal Humanity. Now, I know you've seen the commercials on there because there's my sponsored nonprofit that I pull onto the show. And they're helping the world with children that are in need in different other countries, even in the United States. 2 needed things: shelter, food, and education. So for $15, that feeds at least one child for 2 hours. And you know how much that need is. 2 hours. What happens to the rest of the hours? Think about that. That's why we need you to say, you know what, I'm willing, first of all, to get fed at the conference for you, but then also you're taking $15 of your money and you're feeding others. That's a win-win all the way around. Wouldn't you think so? So I just ask you right now, sign up today. I will put the link out there for everybody, and just make sure that you take care of yourself. This is self-care for you. This is self-care for you, and it's self-help, is helping others to have them help self-care as well. So we will see you back again next week at the Time to Shine Happiness Show with myself and the wonderful, awesome, tremendous, incredible Mrs. Barbara Ellis that I love so dearly. But I always want you to remember what Barbara always says, and it's always a need, that let's make happiness the norm and not the abnorm, because it's so important right now in today's age. So thank you, Barbara, for making that movement in her life, that she made a movement in all of our lives to always say, let's make happiness the norm. See you next Tuesday.